and his birthday and this week's reflection. I have a couple quotes from the years of 1835 all the way up to the 1860s on Father Moreau, his schools, the community life, and just different issues that they're dealing with. So in November 8th of 1835, Father Moreau said, "You might inform those parents who may wish to send their children away to school at Le Mans that I intend to establish a boarding school at Saint-Croix and Le Mans in which French, Greek, and Latin would be taught." So it's a couple years later that in 1849, Father Moreau reflects back on the years of 1848. So in the years of 1848, there was a lot of unrest in Europe, a lot of revolts that were going on. The Second Revolution in France in 1848 happened. It's sometimes called the February Revolution. It was a wave of revolutions that hit Europe in 1848. And once again, it set back education of the students. There was also a revolution in Italy in 1848 in which Pope Pius fled Rome. He went to the Kingdom of Naples. And of course, we know the results of that was the loss of the Papal States. And then also in 1848, there were some great things that happened within the congregation. So the opening of Notre Dame de Loc in South Bend, which is the University of Notre Dame today. But originally, it was a boarding school. And then we had the full teaching rights at Notre Dame de Saint-Croix, which gave them the ability to offer degrees. And then we had the opening of our schools in the continent of Africa in Algiers. We had the opening of our new schools in Montreal with the permission of the local bishop. Each of these school communities dealt with the education of all students that came to them, knowing some would be advanced and others had no previous education or schooling because of war, because of poverty, or because of lack of education in their schools. In October 20th of 1858, when Father Moreau was reflecting on the community here in New Orleans and in the U.S., he said, "The hand of God continues to rest heavily on our brothers and sisters in New Orleans. After the death which I have announced to you, almost one after another, we appeal to New Orleans. If any feel themselves called to devote their lives to the poor orphans of New Orleans, where notwithstanding all these trials, our congregation has such a beautiful future there, I would ask them to notify me of their desires in the course of this year." So we go from 1858, and now we're into 1862. And in Father Moreau's circular letter of March 26, 1862, he says, he reflects on the spirit of the Union, especially in the United States during the Civil War, that put our communities of Indiana and Louisiana on opposite sides of the struggle. Never more than now have I experienced a keener realization of how necessity it is for me to be united with all you, from our houses to be united among themselves and with our mother house in Le Mans. These needs of union have emphasized by the declaration of war between the North and the South in America, which has cut me off from correspondence with our vicarious New Orleans. So he had communication with the people in South Bend, but all communication in the South, no mail was allowed to go out. He says, in fact, faith as well as reason and experiences demonstrates conclusively that in union there is strength. Union gives rise to the strength by blending all parts of the whole. It's like mortar that holds stones of a building together and unites them all with the keystone. So that was in March, and then in May, so May 13th of 1862, Father Thorn up in Indiana had sent sisters to work in 3 of the hospitals to care for the victims of the War of the North, while the Sisters of the South, the Maronites that we know of in New Orleans, have already established hospitals to help the victims of the war in the South. He says, the generosity of the daughters of Our Lady of the Seven Dolours is rewarded even here by their conversion, with blessings on their lips of the sisters who have brought the soldiers and those they serve with grace. As a family of Holy Cross, we connect with all people where they are and work side by side to prove the dignity and the rights of all we encounter. So good luck on your questions and your reflections.